what's happened. That's such the easy conversation you have to have. How does every character feel right now because of what happened in the first film? It's like they ignore it.
They didn't do that. They did hey, let's make Highlander 2 because people like Highlander.
Yeah.
Let's just throw names and words and philosophies into it. And as long as it's monkeys and humans and they're in the future and humans don't know what's going on, there's our movie. And we'll throw, I'm assuming, some weird stuff into it in the last half hour of the movie.
Right.
So if I should fail to return from the unknown, the whole future of civilization will be yours to preserve or destroy, so think well before you act. I have to say that even though we're finding a lot of the flaws in the storytelling of this logic, this scene of grandfather Zaius coming in and entrusting it to Cornelius and Zira had me excited as a kid. Like, it wasn't...
I can see that.
The scene itself... If you edit it down based upon this time and this moment, I could see like, okay, cool, I'm along for this idea.
Yeah, and especially when you're a child watching this, you don't understand the complexities of what they were talking about in the first film. You get, I don't even know as a child watching it if you get the complexities of the race relation that they're
right.
trying to evoke.
Well, they've largely largely of race relations, they've largely forgone that except for class situation.
At this point, in this movie, yeah.
Gorillas, chimps, and orangutans appear to be class as opposed to race.
I could accept if we had eradicated the whole race relation idea from the first film, because you can't have that same conversation again. You need to have a new one, and we already talked about it. Now you're moving on to war.
Technically, the first movie would have been the best one to talk about because they are literally different races. It's an orangutan, chimp, gorilla. So, and unlike humans, we're different ethnicities. We're not different races. We're all the same race. We're human race.
Right.
Yeah.
We still call it race relations.
I understand.
And I agree that drives me insane. But at least you could come in and say, if you sat down and had a script meeting and said, okay, this film, we're going to make it about war and the escalation that occurs from something. So the first one was about race relations, and something changed, a perspective that threatened them. We now need to go to war over it.
But let's be quite honest. What they did was, hey, Planet of the Apes made a whole lot of money. Let's make another Planet of the Apes and try to make that much money, but with lesser people and lesser spread.
And you're right, and having read through a number of the things about the production of this for the longest time, they were more concerned about how did they top the reveal of the Statue of Liberty than they were
trying to find the twist.
They searched and searched and searched for that, and when all you do is search for the payoff,
you're not going to make it. So you're giving us literally the first half hour is pretty much the same half hour the first movie, cut down actually when the first half hour was a whole lot of traveling. This one is no traveling. Now we are meeting a bunch of weird apes in the city again. What's going on? Now we're literally in with the scientists again. What's going on? It's the exact same movie from the first one without anything really new except for something weird's going on in the Forbidden Zone.
I would say it's a very rare writer that can work backward from the twist.
Yeah.
Because usually you need to build the stories, the characters, the situations to pepper it so that the payoff works.
Yeah.
Working in reverse,
it's very hard,
Very, very hard.
What I do like about this minute in particular is that taking the entire first movie into account and the first moments of this movie so far, we get some very impassioned, tight moments between Zaius and Zira in such a way that there's not a human driving the dialogue. It's not a wide courtroom scene. It's not Taylor taking over. It's not Brent in a scene. It's not an arena shot where we get a tight of one gorilla. It is just Zira and Zaius having this impassioned plea, and the tights are on two people in monkey suits having this conversation. And I just thought it was actually visually well done.
Yeah. I have no problem with that. I have no problem even with Zaius being in this situation and becoming, as we're now calling him, Grandfather Zaius. I kind of like it, if it made sense. If he was given a reason why his turn has occurred. It doesn't have to be a great reveal. I don't need to see that his family was decimated by humans. I don't need that. I just need to know why he's there. And that, again, can be that he's afraid of the Ursus because he's seen something the Ursus did that he doesn't trust. He can see the orangutans changing. Anything like that. if you're going to put a character in a new light, we need to get new information of why they're there.
You know, I mean, literally, obviously I've not seen the rest of this movie, but as I'm sitting here thinking about it right now, the movie would have started off better if it was, you saw a little tiny gorilla sleeping somewhere outside in a building, whatever, and then you saw humans coming through and somehow devastating a settlement or whatever. And you saw little Ursus being attacked or whatever, and then the mother protecting him or whatever. And then you cut to later, and then it's literally Brent coming through and all this stuff. And then you find out that Ursus, the person that's giving the speech in the area that's, you know, calling all the gorillas and the orangutans, you find out, you know, I was attacked when I was a child, and they killed my mother, killed my parents, and this is why
that's another way you can go at it.
You know, you started a 5-minute sequence before it, and then you don't reference that again for a half hour, and then you find out that that's the guy that's been yelling about all the humans. That makes more sense than, hey, we're starting the Planet of the Apes again.
So one thing that just occurred to me, too, that we're forgetting, sequels were not commonplace at this time.
Well, that's true.
And so this, you know, we're thinking of,
we're
we've
talking
just seen
40 years later.
And we've seen Infinity War, which is just a beautifully
10 years of 18 movies.
Of putting together movies that pepper in ideas that suddenly pay off in one. Totally different method of storytelling now. It just seems, though, that they didn't think through what it was they wanted to do. And, ultimately the returns on the box office were
that's
greatly...
what they want to do. They want to make money.
But they were greatly reduced. Imagine if they'd taken the time, and maybe that is a lesson that comes to this for the studio system, is take a little more time. Yeah. How many studios have gone for the quick buck? You know, look at the Halloween films. They just kept churning those out.
Look at Nightmare on Elm Street 2 versus any of the other ones.
Yeah, so, I mean, usually that didn't occur. And that's the situation we're in here.
So, quick note, to bring back the idea of the plaster on the face, we have this entire moment where Azira is actually holding the rag to her face, and it's very obvious she's holding the rag. It would have been nice to know that she's actually covering something, as opposed to continue to hold the rag. But as a viewing audience, you wouldn't know that she's hiding something. You would just think that she's, for whatever reason, still holding this bloody rag in front of Dr. Cornelius, or Dr. Zira, or Dr. Zaius.
Yeah, and when you think of it like that, I get why she says my husband beat me, essentially, and it pays off the thing to what Zaius is saying, but it comes out of nowhere. It really does come out of nowhere that she's that quickly
hiding something.
Yeah.
We don't know. The audience doesn't know.
Considering the fact that in the first movie they didn't show any like male-female dominance of, you know, smacking, pushing people away.
Right.
It seemed like a very equivalent, you know, male
very
and female were
docile
the same
kind of,
thing.
yeah.
And then the second movie, males can hit female, and it's just commonly accepted because that's what happens. That kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Anyways. So I think
is that minute 30
it for
done?
my notes.
Richard, I see you reading. Do you have anything?
No,
else
I think so. I think we ended with her saying goodbye, doctor, and good luck. It's like, okay,
no, we're gonna find out.
See ya.
Yeah, and I will say the send off. Something about it. I'm sorry, God, why can't I think of the newsman that always
newsman?
Good night and good luck.
Good night. That's exact. Morrow, was that his last name?
Yeah. Edward Armour.
Armour. As soon as I heard that, I was like,
I
thought, really? You know, especially of that era, you're choosing that.
Well, and you know what? That
they may have done it intentionally.
Might have been intentionally because it was so close to that. Yeah.
And this minute was still driven by Kim Hunter,
without question,
and not Cornelius. They did not have Roddy McDowell. They did not make Cornelius prominent in these discussions. It's all about Zaius and Zira.
Once again, though, I can't imagine if he was in this film.
What would have changed? It would have been dramatic. It would have been dramatically different. They wouldn't have let Zira. They wouldn't have let Zira lead.
Anything like that. Yeah.
And we might have actually seen more.
No.
We might have actually
it wouldn't have been about Zira being lead. It would have been a co-lead between the two of them.
But
they would have been fighting its family.
They're teasing us with this idea of gender issues based upon husband and wife.
Right.
We might have seen a little more of that play in a positive way or negative way.
Right.
Role of women in society if Roddy McDowell had actually been there versus this one where he's only there to be
Or his character. Yeah.
His character's
character's
there
only
at the
there-
mercy of whoever's putting the scene together instead of an actor's like, no, I wouldn't do this. Why aren't we doing that? What have we done here?
No, you don't establish what I did in the first movie to make
Right.
me be
You have
her
to pay that
equal.
off. You
Yeah.
have to
or
do these
her,
kind of things.
she's my equal, not I'm her superior, so
Right.
I'd be beating her, even though, she'd be standing up to me saying, he hit me, but blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Give me shit back of, because
Right.
I didn't make the pasta right or whatever, just
We'll never find
twist.
out, but I can't help but wonder.
Oh, yeah. We'll never find out.
All right. Minute 30.
Yeah,
That's it.
Do we call it done?
I think so.
All right.
so.
That is a Friday. That is a week for Minute of the Apes. We will be back next week with
We're a third of the
more.
way through, aren't we?
We are a third of the way
right.
through. Thank God. I'm sorry.
That's
I'm not
fine.
ever going to hide my disdain for this movie.
I
It's
just
my
smiled
least
in my
favorite
face
of all
when
of
you
them.
did that.
Anyway, so that is another week. We will be back next week to cover 5 more minutes of Minute of the Apes. Until
Really?
then,
Not
yes.
6?
No,
That's
5, just
All right,
5.
all right.
Until then, go hit us up on Twitter. Let us hear from you. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Good night, everybody.
Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes. Beneath the Minute of the Apes.
The only good human is a dead human.